Welcome to Screenshots. We're on location at the Short Hills Club. I'm standing here with Jerry Viant, who's going to help me go through the women's draw. Jerry and I just spent 3 hours watching a spectacular men's final, which Juan will talk to us about in a few minutes. So Jerry, let's talk a little about the women's draw. A couple upsets. At the end of the day, the winner was somebody you would expect, but let's go through it a little bit.
Yep, Anna and Vicky came through in the final, but we did have some upsets. We had the number 2 seed Stardust and Shea going out to Liz Cruz and Gabby Nicolescu, who first time that I'm seeing her play, and lights out. She is tenacious. She drives off of both sides. She played the deuce side with Liz Cruz, which is credit to Liz. She has shown that she can play, ad and deuce. She's flexible that way. But Gabby, very impressive for her first national ranking tournament. And I think that it was 3 sets against, Kerry Delmonico and Lauren Gebbia in the semifinals that they lost, but there was a tiebreaker in there, and it was Kerry's savviness and court sense and awareness that really helped them change their tactics and win that match. But it was a battle. It was a battle, and very, I'm excited again for the women's tour to have a new player out there.
Well, there are a bunch of new players in the tour. I mean, speaking of players who've been around for a while, Jaffe and Rudloff had a terrific tournament, lost a tough 3-set to Delmonico Gebbia. And Kerry Flynn debuted a new partner, Myrthe Molenvold, from, I guess, who's Dutch, who really has a world of talent. I don't know if you got to see her play.
I have not seen her. I've heard you had told me about her, and I have not seen her play, so I'm looking forward to that. So there's no easy first-round matches or second-round matches in the women's tour anymore. You got to come ready to play.
So on the bottom half of the draw, you were looking for that semifinal collision between Roxy Anikin and Martina Andrikova. They played a terrific match with Anna and Vicky at Chicago, and you really thought they would come through. But they ran into the buzzsaw from Chicago, McNitt Spitz, who got to the finals of Long Island.
The experience of Jane, again, came through.
Did Jane fall down a lot of times?
Only a couple of times. She was surprisingly upright for most of the match, but they kind of, they enjoy the speed. You cannot hit the ball hard and fast into Jane's screen because she generates a lot of offense. So she was given opportunities, and Wendy took her chances off of her return to serve, which sets up Jane for the blitz. So you can't let that get going. And I think they didn't do a fabulous job of shutting them down. I mean, that went 3 sets, and it could have gone either way. It was down to the 3rd set, but it was just a little too much speed, and Jane and Wendy lapped it up.
Watching Martina and Roxy play, they really only have one speed. They play fast, and they don't have a plan B, and that's a bad matchup for them.
Yeah, and Roxy asked me what I thought at lunchtime about it, and I said exactly the same thing. I said it's not fast or slow. There's an in-between, and you have to get that savviness, and I think, she could learn a lot from watching Vicky play, who really has the creative mind and the ability to execute, and just doesn't go for the big shots all the time. She waits for her opportunities. But Roxy is getting better and better every time she plays, and so is Martina.
So
nice team.
McNitt Spitz win that match for a rematch with Anna and Vicky, who they beat in the semis of Long Island. Yeah. And you would have thought they had a shot at that match yesterday.
They did not get a chance because Anna and Vicky gave them no pace to generate anything off the screens, kept everything away from Wendy's forehand. Anna was on the net, was watching from the side here. Anna was totally on top of the net when Wendy was driving, so that shut down Jane's ability to blitz, and that's their 2 strongest parts of their game, to generate offense. So Jane and Wendy needed to find another way to do it, and they lobbed well. I would have liked to see Jane blitz and create a little bit of difference, but they didn't, and it was Anna and Vicky just dictating play. It was a relatively routine match for them.
So that's the semis. The finals, Anna and Vicky are playing Delmonico and Gebbia. And you thought maybe the firepower of Lauren Gebbia could make the difference in the match?
I did. I was looking forward to this, and also that Kerry and Lauren switched sides. So they put Lauren on the deuce side, and because Kerry's really a playmaker, and she has a lot of different shots. And I think she feels she has more shots from the ad side, but she's so smart, and she's so willing to be flexible to find another way. If it's not working, then let's change it up. And to me, Lauren didn't look that comfortable in the deuce side, and she wasn't firing, she wasn't hitting. They lost the first set, so they switched sides, and Lauren was able to hit more, but Anna and Vicky, they volley so well that you've really got to change it up and open up the court. And they tried. To Carrie and Lauren's credit, they did change their game plan several times during the match, and they were fighting all the way down to the last point, not just giving up and talking about it in the car on the way home, coulda, shoulda, woulda. But again, it's the Anna and Vicky show. They played within themselves. They don't hit shots that they're not balanced for. They play as a team, and it shows. It's their pace.
So next weekend is their last tournament of the season in Philadelphia, because Vicky, being pregnant, has announced that she will not be playing nationals this year. So that'll be emotional for them. But leading into nationals now, who do you like?
Well, it's wide open. There's any number. There's 8 teams that could win the nationals if they come ready, prepared, and believe that they can win. Any eight teams could win. So it's going to be interesting. It hasn't been this much fun in a long time on the women's tour. Lauren Zink and Cindy Prendergast are playing Philadelphia too. So I'm not sure if they're playing the nationals, but if they do, Lauren doesn't usually have a warm-up tournament to nationals, so that will make it even more interesting. But I'm not going to pick anybody until I see the quarterfinals. Get back to me on that.
Okay. Well, it's been a tremendous year on the women's tour. A lot of new faces, a lot more depth to the women's game I ever remember seeing in some explosive matches. And it seems only fitting that Chicago should be completely wide open for the national championship.
Yes, and we've got all the other Chicago teams that are waiting too. They didn't come out. A couple of teams came out to Short Hills, but there's several teams from the Midwest that can do some damage too. Will be interesting matchup. So that's why I'll be looking for the draw and see who pulls who in the quarterfinals.
Okay. Thank you for joining Screenshots, Jerry, for the wrap-up of the Short Hills Invitational.
All right. Looking forward to Philadelphia.
See you there. Okay, welcome back to the Short Hills Club. I'm joined by my partner in crime, Juan Araya.
Yes, or whatever is left of him.
Or whatever is left of him after his 3-hour battle. Juan, let's see your hands. Okay, so let's talk about the men's draw.
Yes.
Top of the draw, we had the Broderick Palmer Ines Urdoya match. Was the first really interesting match in the quarterfinals.
Yeah. Nothing.
Not there yet.
I mean, if you remember when you asked me, do you give him any chance? And I said, no.
Did you pick all 4 of the semifinalists
Yes.
correctly?
I'm always right.
Okay, so Ines Urdoya just, not quite there yet. Just a little more patience needed. Needs a little more offense on the backcourt.
I mean, I think the patience factor, they need to improve on that. But yeah, I mean, they're a great team. I mean, they had a good win against Javier and Andrea Bonfigli, a 3-setter. That's a great win for them. Javi is playing great, and Andrea is a good player. But I don't think they're there yet to beat a team like Broderick and Palmer.
Next quarter of the draw was Anthony Cosmano and Nathan Lefevre playing against Marco Grangero and George Wilkinson. George and Marco have struggled of late, as we've talked about. Played a bad first set, lost the first set at 6-1.
Yes.
And then started turning things around. They had it was 4-all in the second, and they kind of found a way.
Well, I was actually on the court at that time, so I don't know how.
Why would that prevent you from watching some of the match?
I was watching, but Max at one point told me, can you please focus on our match? So I decided to do what he told me. But anyways, the first set I did watch a little. They weren't playing well. They made too many mistakes. And there was a lot on the line in that match because Anthony and Nathan needed the points.
They were defending semis points here from last year.
Yeah, they were defending a lot of points. So, things didn't go their way. But, Marco and George, they haven't been playing well, but they're a very solid team. And Anthony and Nathan haven't been playing well either. So, we knew it was going to be a good battle. They know each other very well, but it doesn't surprise me that Marco and George pulled it off.
Well, Marco and George started to turn things around. We'll talk a little bit about their semifinal in a minute. So they came through there. In the next section of the draw, we had Lubao DeRose, who were defending finals points here. I guess championship points, right? So they were upset by Adam Morgan and Dane Schmigdal, who came through.
Who I picked too.
You picked them?
Yes.
Impressive.
Yeah.
So they came out of that quarter of the draw, and then the final quarter of the draw was yours. And you guys had a tough quarterfinal last night with Sebastian Bredberg and Martin Bostrom.
It was very, very hard. A good battle. I mean, we know each other so well. So we all know our strengths, our weaknesses.
Were you bothered by Martin's cockiness in that match?
He was very cocky at one point, No, all kidding aside, Martin was great.
He was great when he hit Max about 12 times, that thunderous forehand.
Yeah, and I was actually eye rolling Max when he was getting hit. So yeah, not good. But they play very well, very steady. Martin was ripping shots. I mean, he was hitting unbelievable shots. But we played well. It was. I don't think we played our best. Overall, in the entire tournament, we didn't play well until the final. But we pulled it off. I mean, those wins count a lot. So
Well, sometimes they count more
yes.
when you find a way to win when you're not playing well.
Against a good team like Martin and Sebastian. So we're happy. We were very happy last night.
Okay, so semifinals, Broderick Palmer versus Grangero Wilkinson. First set is a real hard-fought competitive set, one of the best sets I've seen Marco and George play in a while. Had some opportunities, ended up losing at 6-3, and then they went away a little bit in the second set.
Yeah.
Drew and Jared are just so mentally tough, and you can't give them an opening, and Marco and George did in the second set.
I didn't know that.
So your semifinal with Adam and Dane. You guys get off to a real slow start. Did you miss breakfast this morning? What happened?
No, I had breakfast, but I think that last night we went out with my wife and we had raclette, and I ate a lot, so I could barely move. They started making a lot of shots. I was missing pretty much everything.
So you won the first game and then lost 4 in a row to go down a double break at 4-1.
Yeah, and then we were 5-2 down, and we came back. We started playing better. And we started putting the ball on the court, challenging them more. I started to blitz a little bit. We came back and won 7-5. And then we're up 2-love, and we're on a roll, and all of a sudden they break Max's serve.
Did that have anything to do with Max's 3 faults that game?
I don't think so. Even though he faulted 3 times, we were able to get back to those, and we had chances to win the game. But they played a good game. We didn't, and it was 2-1, and things starting to get out of hand. And but we were able to stay close, and we were able to win 6-4.
Well, you had a big hole in the 4-all game, which was a tight competitive game.
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
But I thought that was one of the differences in the match.
Could be. I mean, that was 4-all. It's a big game. Regardless of who is serving, but no, it was. I think we played a good game there, and then we were able to close it. Yeah.
Okay, so that takes us to the finals.
Yeah.
The 3-hour and 6-minute 20-second finals. Must have felt like you're out there for about a week.
Yeah, it felt very long.
So the first set, you play great. There are virtually no holds to serve. I think you held to start the set and to finish the set. So you win the set 6-3, and there's 7 breaks in between those 2 holds. Tell me a little bit about it.
Well, Jared was returning very well, so it was very hard to keep the net. And then, we were all returning well. We were challenging each other. And I think the first set we played well. I think that the main difference in the first set was actually I hit like probably 5 to 8 drop shot slashes, overheads that are important times. And because of that, we were able to win the set. I think that was a big difference. In the second set, we're up 2-1, and I hit a very silly shot. I tried to waterfall Jared, who is actually 6'3", and I don't think that is going to happen too often. And he jumps, spikes an overhead, and I see the ball. Actually, I see the Viking, the logo, coming right at my nose. So I decided to avoid, turn and not
fall on your butt.
I fell on my butt, and that's when I opened my hand. And I started bleeding, and I think that changed momentum. I mean, we lost 5 games in a row to lose 6-2 the second set. And my energy level went down big time.
One of the interesting things to me is I've seen lots of matches where there are multiple breaks of serve, but that usually stems from poor serving and great returning. And here, there were a lot of long grinding points that the team in the backcourt just found a way to win. It wasn't like anybody was dominating with return serve.
Yeah, it was Jared. I think that out of all 4 players, the one that created more damage with the return was Jared, by far.
Clearly in the third set. So let's talk about the third set, talk about how Jared stepped up. So third set starts, you guys get off to an early break. You actually held Max's serve at 2-1 to go up 3-1, and he had a big celebration at that point.
Yes.
Are you getting tired of your partners celebrating after they finally hold serve?
No. I'm used to, I play with all my partners have a hard time holding serve. I think it must be me. I mean, they're looking at my butt when I get in at the net, and they get distracted.
It's not a particularly attractive sight, to be honest. Okay, so at 3-1, you play a long deuce-ad game on Drew's serve. You have 4 or 5 opportunities. On one of them, Drew hits a let cord, which I think catches the line on the overhead.
Yeah, lead court line snowboard and hits Max.
Right.
So that was unlucky. We had like 3 chances to go for 1.
I think it might have been 5.
Yeah, I missed. I think I missed a forehand in the net or a backhand in the net. You know, a couple of. You know, that shot was a lucky shot, but you know, it's part of the game. You know, things happen.
Well, I have to say, in terms of that, it was a long grinding match, but there was just spectacular shot making, and very few of the big points ended in mental mistakes. They almost all ended in great points.
Yeah.
So Drew has a great hold to get back to 3-2. Then you reciprocate with an equally great hold, serving at 3-2 down 540. And then Max played a wonderful game on Jared's serve at 2-4, hit a couple of spike overheads from the backcourt for winners to get to 5-2. Did you think you had the match won at that point?
You know, I was feeling confident, but
But Max had to serve.
Well, yes, but you know, he held the game before, so we were going into that game with a hold in the previous game. I was feeling good. I mean, we were playing well. Those guys were making some mistakes. I was feeling good, but
So you lose the 5-2 game, 4 consecutive points. I think
Yeah.
you got hit in the butt on the first point.
no, I got hit in the chest, the first point. Then
I guess I was just looking at your butt.
Yeah. Then Max faults. Then I don't know what happened in the third point, and then I missed another or I missed the volley, and then something else happens. It was a very quick game. It was like probably a 40-second game, which all the other games that we played were probably 20 minutes long. It was like crazy. So those are games that you cannot play at this level. I mean, you have to try something different. Once you lose the first 2 points, reset, do something different. Then at 5-3, we had a good game. I mean, we're down 15-love. Then we go back to 15-all. I hit a good forehand there. They missed the volley. 30-15, 30-all. And then I have a great look at a backside backhand that I see Drew cheating towards the middle. And I go down the line and I missed it
A little
wide.
wide, yeah, I remember that shot.
I think, look, I mean, I would like to get that shot back.
I can go inside and ask Drew and Jared if they're willing to start over again.
I think actually was the right shot to hit, but I tried to make it too good. And that just, you know, I forced it and I missed it. And then the next point, I think, I hit a forehand return into
snowbank.
this, out of the court. And then we played a fast game at 5-4. I mean, we're 30-all again. I faulted twice in that game, which I haven't faulted probably twice in the entire tournament.
But in fairness, Jared's returning, especially his forehand, the last 5 games was huge. He
No,
really
and I
started
was
to put
trying
pressure on
get
you.
I was trying to make him move, and I forced it. I missed the serve wide. You know, it's all right. I mean, you got to take the risk if you want to win. And I took the risk. It didn't work. It is what it is. You know, I think overall, the match was a great match. I mean, I'm very happy the way we played. Max is a little bummed, but, you know, I've been telling him that he played great. That we're a good team. And, you know, he should be proud by the way he played this tournament and how far we got to it and how well we played. And also it was great to see this many spectators and have them all, you know, watching and saying that, you know, it was a good match. And
It's more than a good match, one of the best matches a lot of people have seen.
That's a great compliment.
So this pushes you up to 3 or 2 in the country?
3, I think. 3.
Okay. Well, great effort. Obviously disappointing finish.
No, I'm not, like I said. I mean, I'm not disappointed. I mean, it's a loss. A loss is a loss, but you can't say I'm disappointed because I'm not disappointed. I think it was a great tournament, and we play well. They play better. I mean, Jared and Drew are a great team. They only lost 2 matches this season, and you know, it is what it is.
So what are your plans? You going to be on the courts tomorrow morning working hard on your game?
Not really. I'm going to Mexico on vacation for a week, which, by the way, I'm going to shoot screenshots myself from the beach, and I'm going to talk about the Philadelphia draw with the margarita in my hand and with the background of the beautiful Caribbean Sea.
That sounds a lot more attractive to me than the background behind us now.
Oh, we'll see. Yeah, that's true.
Okay, we'll have a great trip to Philadelphia. I'll have a great trip to Philadelphia. You have a great trip to Mexico, and we'll do a Philadelphia wrap-up the following week
Yes.
from cold Westchester, Connecticut.
Yeah.
Okay, that wraps up our on-location edition of Screenshots from the Short Hills Club.